Kindergarten special is the longest hour of my life. They can't tie their shoes. They pick their noses. They fight about everything. They poke me in the butt when they want something. And they will say my name at least 529 times in an hour. They can not do anything independently. I often say, I have the perfect job if I didn't have to teach kindergarten. While I do not gravitate towards or prefer this age group, I also see the most growth and change in my kinders. The transformation from slightly feral to functioning school citizens in the span of 9 months is rather miraculous, albeit exhausting. But by June, it's a bit bittersweet saying goodbye to these honest, loving kids who have adapted and learned so much. The smallest students in my elementary school are in the developmental kindergarten class. We call it DK, or Young Fives. There are 12 students, 10 boys and 2 girls. But despite this smaller class size, it feels like a solid 30. There's a student with Down syndrome, another few with dysfunctional and or traumatic home life experiences, and the even more common behaviors of, I don't know how to listen, use any manners, or be respectful. I have them twice a week right after lunch, and if I'm being completely transparent, there are days when I struggle to leave the staff lounge and go back to my classroom. It's helped to remind myself where we started and how far we've come. From the beginning of school to midway through the year, several of my little friends could not sit and listen to a story. One ran away and hid and refused to follow any directions or discipline. He often was removed from my classroom because he was so disruptive, while the other required constant supervision as he was a bit of a sneaky escape artist. Meanwhile, I was supposed to be doing a read aloud, checking out books, teaching technology skills, and so on. The phrase herding cats came to mind frequently. I incorporate a lot of free manipulative time in my makerspace and extra recess when the weather is nice because it's both developmentally appropriate for young children and also to keep my sanity. Yesterday, we worked on Chromebooks in the tech lab using mouse tools to create and manipulate images. Kinders don't have a long attention span on a good day and don't need more extended screen time anyway, so I keep it short and simple. One of my students, Aiden, said he didn't want to do the activity anymore and decided he was done, so he just shut his computer. Aiden, I said, we aren't done with the activity and I haven't told you to close your computer yet. He replied, it's boring and I don't want to do it anymore. I'm sorry you feel that way, I said, but what we're learning today is an important skill you need to know, and keep working and try your best. We always work hard for a little bit, and then we'll go outside and have some extra recess time. He opened his computer, logged back in, and got to work, all by himself. As I watched him do it, it hit me. This was a huge moment. Aiden has had a hard time all year following directions and staying on track. Just being a student able to function in a school setting without major disruptions is miraculous. He has been openly defiant, disobedient, and disrespectful. In the fall, he was found wandering the streets of our small town in his bare feet by our school resource officer. His dad hadn't woken up to send him to school, and Aiden decided since he had missed the bus, he would get himself there anyway. Obviously, he recognizes school is a safe place for him and where he wants and needs to be. He receives attention, interaction, stimulation, and basic daily needs like food and love. Aiden's classroom teacher, Mrs. Clays, is a calm, gentle, firm, and consistent teacher, and she holds him accountable. She also holds his hand, walking him to the bus every day, talking with him, and making sure he leaves feeling safe and loved. I know how difficult his life is, but I also know how challenging it is for his teacher to have him in her classroom with very young children with so many needs, including other students with their own issues and impairments. She has maintained a soothing presence for him, and the difference she has made in every student in her class is visible. It reminds me daily that what we do infinitely matters, even in the really tough and frustrating moments. It's also a nudge to keep the big picture in mind and the progress and growth that has happened. The cliche phrase, teachers change lives, is probably used too much, but it really is true. I've always said kindergarten teachers have the hardest jobs, and they most definitely deserve hazard pay. To reflect upon how some of our schools' most needy children first come to us and then how they leave is truly incredible. It's something that cannot be measured in any assessment, evaluation, or standardized test, nor can you really do it justice trying to explain it to someone who is not an educator. We just add it to the moments in our hearts, send them on for the summer, and hope that what we've done has taken root and that they'll return to us next year with enough to keep them going for success. So, stay strong, my fellow kindergarten teacher colleagues. There will be tears, possibly questioning your life choices, and maybe some alcohol involved. But you perhaps have the greatest impact on young minds. You are the very first person who ever teaches a student, starting their origin story for their educational experiences, and you will forever hold a special place in their hearts and minds.